Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on this 2004 Mazda RX-8 from Matchbox. I wanted to try my hand at another manga build. A few weeks ago we did that WRX STI hatchback, and I think it turned out okay. It was a good start. I think we could just go a little bit better with this RX-8, or at least that was my goal. I'm just obsessed with these wraps and paint jobs. This 350Z is a huge inspiration, and I thought this RX-7 was pretty cool as well. But unfortunately, this build just fought me the entire way. I tried to take apart the package, it lifted some of the script, it just took so much nail polish remover to loosen it up. It was just not working out for me. And so, you'll see me build this up, then tear it back and sort of start from the beginning. One positive, though, is I learned a new trick to remove these axles. If you use a lighter, hold it to those little forks that hold in the axles, they just pull right out. The plastic softens enough and it works like a charm. So I give my credit to Car Things for that trick. I never thought of this, but it worked out amazing. So back to these RX-8s. These cars are just a little different, and they may not have held up great or were very reliable, but I just think they were super interesting, and apparently they drove pretty well. If you watched any Top Gear, Jeremy Clarkson gave this car a decent amount of praise back in period, and I always liked him. There was a number of famous RX-8s, in my mind at least. I'm thinking of Tony Angelo running a RX-8 in Formula Drift. It was 13B powered, had a turbocharger, had a 787 style livery on it. It just looked cool. Neela from Tokyo Drift drove a two-tone RX-8 when she took Sean out on a canyon run. And if you're like me and old, there's a 1 in 3 chance you were starting Need for Speed Carbon out in a Mazda RX-8. These cars were interesting because a number of reasons. I mean, they were actually a sedan. They looked like a coupe, though. They had these little clamshell doors that folded out like suicide doors. And, that just added a little bit more practicality to these sort of coupe-like cars. And then talking about the powertrain, they didn't run a conventional piston engine. They actually ran a rotary engine, a 1.3-liter Renesis rotary engine. It was a 2-rotor engine and produced around 238 horsepower, which is not too bad when you consider that this is an NA motor and the engine is only 79 cubic inches. For reference, the 1.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder in my Fiat 500 Abarth makes 160 horsepower, so this thing makes a ton more compared to that. Factor in that these cars only weigh about 3,000 pounds, and they're pretty quick. I think the 0 to 60 was just under 7 seconds, and they came with a stick. You could get them with a 4-speed automatic, but that dropped power to like 200 horsepower. These were just an interesting car. They were also front mid-engine, and so the weight balance was pretty good on them. And they had little interesting Easter eggs all throughout the car, and they were all sort of triangle themed. So if you know anything about rotary engines, you know that the actual rotors are sort of like a triangle shape. And so that design language can be seen in the shift knob or the seat headrests or even the hood. I mean, you can see it in the bumpers too. There's so many different little details on this car that are triangle themed. It's so funny. Like I said, this build was just tough for me. So you can see here, I am about to trim up the body because I realized that it was not fitting with the wheels I put on, because I bent the axles to make it sort of look like it had some negative camber, and that was just the wrong way of doing it. But here we go. I've been working on these custom diecasts for a little bit over a year now, and while I think I've gotten better at them, they are by no means easy to me. And I'm not a great artist. I guess I don't have a steady hand. I'm not great with painting. I don't have the best painting supplies, but I do try. If you want to see some amazing artists, check out Jakarta Diecast Projects, Diecast Restos, Whammy Len Art, car things. They all have amazing pieces of die-cast cars that they put out. And you know, they just blow me away with everything that they do. But here is what I thought was the finished product. I was just not happy with it. So let's start again. What we've got going on here is just the Sharpie marks that I put on there. The paint marks were just too thick. It did not give the right look for me. So I'm taking a Q-tip with a little tiny bit of nail polish remover and trying to lift off that Sharpie as best I can. You know, I sort of sat on this for a few days. I packaged it up. I'm like, it's good enough. But I really wasn't happy with the way it looked at all. And so that's why I decided to give it another try. So something that all of these manga wraps have in common is, you know, besides the black lines, they also integrate some lighter colors. So I felt that using this lighter red shade would sort of make it look more like the manga wraps that I wanted. And so then I went back and detailed it out with the Sharpie. But again, the Sharpie was just not working for me. So I went and I used a paintbrush. And this was a delicate process because, you know, it was just so easy to go too thick. And this is the finished product. It's not perfect, but I still think it's better than the STI hatch we did a few weeks ago. But please let me know in the comments what you think, what you would do differently. If you have any great tips for me, I would especially love to hear it. But I really thank you all for watching and see you next week.